2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday the 15th of August, and it's Lemon Meringue Pie Day. And a big happy birthday to Princess Anne, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lawrence and Tony Robinson. Sunday was the last day of the UK's current heat wave, according to the Met Office, but not the end of extreme weather, as thunderstorms are set to follow. Meanwhile, the extreme heat and drought conditions have led to a surge in wildfires across Europe and the UK. There have been over 700 wildfire events this year already. That's 3 times as many as in 2021, and there have been over 150 just this week. Now, firefighters' unions are warning that staff shortages will make it difficult for them to respond, as Ricardo Tory explained to LBC.
I don't think we can longer have the expectation that the fire service can respond adequately to these incidents. And we've seen a fifth of our workforce go. We've seen 11,500 firefighters cut. 11,500 firefighters that we desperately needed.
Oh, and if you were thinking that rain and thunderstorms might be an end to drought, I'm afraid meteorologist Dr. Rob Thompson of the University of Reading has bad news for you.
It's the wrong kind of rain. We don't need that. That's going to cause potentially flash flooding because the dry ground just can't absorb water in very effectively.
The Tory leadership race grinds on as Liz and Rishi continue to battle for the job of Prime Minister. But even as Liz remains ahead in the polling, the now part-time PM Boris Johnson continues to poll better than both with Tory members. Meanwhile, with no one in charge, there's no sign of any new action on the cost of living crisis. Business Minister Greg Hands, who's on Team Rishi, says that there's already a lot of support out there that just hasn't been seen yet.
We've already taken £37 billion worth of action, not all of which has actually taken effect yet.
Former MP Matthew Parris is unimpressed by frontrunner Liz Truss and her plans.
To talk about helping people with their energy bills, helping those who need it most with their energy bills, as handouts, which she's not in favour of, strikes me as either completely tin-eared or completely dim-witted.
Critics of Liz's tax-cutting plan say it won't have any positive impact on the poorest in society, but Ranil Jayawardena, Minister for International Trade and proud Team Liz member, says it's the key to unlocking economic growth.
That is a country that wants to grow the economy. And if we grow the economy, that's how we'll help people improve their living standards in not only the short term, but in the long term.
Sir Salman Rushdie continues to recover in a New York hospital after he was attacked on stage at a conference on Friday afternoon. The attacker, identified as Hadi Matar, stabbed the Satanic Verses author about 10 times, seriously injuring him so much that he was airlifted to hospital and placed on a ventilator. It appears he may lose an eye, but his son says he's making a good recovery. He'd been placed under a fatwa by Ayatollah Khomeini in 1988 with a $3 million bounty on his head, and this man in the streets of Tehran welcomed news of the attack.
The fatwa issued against him finally worked. They should know that sooner or later, the right will always overcome. God willing, he pays for what he did.
His assailant, who's pleaded not guilty to second-degree attempted murder, is a US citizen with no known connection to Iranian radical groups. Karima Ben-Aoun, a former UN rapporteur on cultural rights, says it's important to defend the right to free speech.
This issue of extremists targeting expression and culture has to be tackled vigorously.
Ukraine continued to target Russian forces in Kherson across the weekend. They've now destroyed both bridges across the river Dnipro, which means Russia will have serious issues supplying food and ammunition to its troops. The battle for the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant continued too, as both sides again accused the other of shelling what is Europe's largest nuclear power station. Russia appears to be attempting to connect the power supply to the Russian grid and cut power to Ukrainian cities, while Ukraine's also accused Russia of looking to create some kind of false flag attack on the station. President Zelensky had a very clear message for any Russian troops at anywhere near Zaporizhzhia.
Every Russian military officer who shoots at the plant, or shoots under the cover of the plant, must understand that he becomes a special target for our intelligence, for our special services, and for our army.
Still to come on the Smart 7, things are really not going well for Man United, and tributes to actress Anne Heche. Right after this. Welcome back.
3,
The second week of Premier League action didn't go any better for new Man United manager Erik ten Hag. He took his team on the road to Brentford, where they lost 4-0 after a couple of howlers from normally steady goalkeeper David De Gea. It's the worst start any Man United manager's had since 1921, and it sees United at the bottom of the Premier League table with no points and a goal difference of -5. Match of the day pundit Alan Shearer is not impressed.
Oh, it's an absolute mess, yeah. It's years of failure, years of mismanagement, lack of leadership. Well, is that the best that they can perform last weekend and this weekend?
I'm sure it's not.
Absolutely not.
We're a nation obsessed with food and the chefs that make it. But if Gordon and Heston and Gino aren't enough for you, maybe you'd like to sample The Bear. It's a new show on Disney Plus starring Jeremy Allen White as a highly stressed chef trying to save the family restaurant. To prep for the role, Jeremy spent some time in real restaurant kitchens and he experienced just how hard life can be as a junior vegetable chopper.
I walked into every kitchen apologizing, just like, I'm sorry I'm here too, but like, please be patient with me. I started cutting. They weren't great. And I told her, you know what, I'm an actor. I'm not a chef. And she just goes, no, I know.
The actress Anne Heishas died after her family formally switched off her life support on Friday afternoon. She'd been in a coma since a bizarre accident that saw her Mini Cooper crash into a house and burst into flames. The actress, aged 53, had huge success in the 90s and noughties in films such as Donnie Brasco, Volcano and I Know What You Did Last Summer. She was also famously in a high-profile relationship with Ellen DeGeneres. Tributes flooded in from Ellen and others, including Patricia Arquette and her ex-husband, Coley Laffon.
Goodbye, Anne. Love you. Thank you. Thank you for all the good times. There were so many. And see you on the other side. And in the meantime, I got our son and he'll be fine. Love you.
She had 2 children and had struggled through her life with mental illness, but found happiness later in life. Rest in peace, Anne.
I've always wanted to see the good in everything that happened to me, and I could not be happier with who I am right now. I couldn't be happier with what I've been able to accomplish in my life.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.